Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Classic Restos. But before I go any further, you've got to go and buy some stuff. Shannons offer us as enthusiasts just so much more. Classic bikes, cars, trucks. Bundle it all together with your house and contents and receive a multi-policy discount. Call Shannons on 134646 for a quote. Sign up for the Shannons Club. Interact with others. List your car club. Find events and so much more. The Shannons Club truly is your garage at shannons.com.au. For oil, coolants and additives, choose Penrite. They have stood the test of time. Established 1926. Australian owned, Australian made. Oil with more zinc for older style engines. No matter what the engine, no matter what the application. Contact the Penrite Technical Assistance Team 7 days a week at penriteoil.com.au. Oil right, use Penrite, simply a better class of oil. For some of the largest range of tools for all trades and DIYs, don't go past Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Established 1930, with branches around Australia and New Zealand. Their showrooms will have you browsing for hours, and no matter where you are, you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. machineryhouse.com.au. And on this week's episode, I have travelled to Jamieson in the high country of Victoria, Australia. Jamieson is a small town in Victoria, Australia, and it's located 199 kilometres northeast of Melbourne. It's the type of place where it's easy to forget about the rest of the world. Jamieson is nestled deep in the mountains beside the Jamieson and Goulburn rivers. This beautiful, laid-back, leafy town is rich with history and a perfect place to relax and unwind. In fact, this region is home for over 1 million visitor night stays per year. Jamieson's historic streets hold a timeline of the bustling hub that the town once was, lending it an authentic, old-world charm that is hard to come by. Many traces of this bygone era still remain, and a stroll through Jamieson will uncover many signposted historical sites. For a more in-depth look at the area's history, you can visit the heritage-listed Jamieson Courthouse and Museum, or take a self-guided walk and explore the town's historic buildings. Come autumn, the town is ablaze with colour as the tree-lined streets turn gold, copper and bronze. Now you can call 1800 039 049 to help plan your escape to Jamieson, or see more online at mansfieldmountbuller.com.au. Now once a year, this beautiful region lends itself to the Jamieson Autumn Fair, and that's why I'm here, because I can smell some classic cars. Well, here we are, a small car show put on by proud locals and encapsulated within a beautiful area, an environment that is deafened with silence. In terms of what is here by the ones that decided to lift their doonas so early this morning, has given us some Aussie cars, some American cars, some Japanese cars, a French car standing prouder than the Eiffel Tower itself, and some stationary engines. So as the autumn leaves fall within a gorgeous backdrop representing a kaleidoscope of colour, it's time for our classic cars. Moving through this touristy episode of Classic Restos, we have Noel. How are you, Noel?
I'm good, thanks, Fletch.
That is good. Now, you've brought a very special Tirana along here. Tell us about that.
Okay, Fletch, this is a 1972 XU1 Tirana. Some people would regard this as a Bathurst version. It was made in the second last batch of cars made, which was the beginning of the final 150. So it's got a Group C race history. It's a pretty special sort of a vehicle.
So, Noel, tell me, do you get behind the wheel, do a bit of pedalling yourself?
Used to. Yeah. I'm getting a bit old for it now. And
Mate, you're still upright and you're taking a breath.
Well, you're right. Yeah, only just. Yeah. I did do a lot of hill climb work in this up to about 5 or 6 years ago, but I've retired now. I've given it away. Have
you always followed the Tiranas, like back in the days when there was a very young Peter Brock that had the opportunity to race one of these cars?
I tried to buy one of these when I was 20 years old when they were a new car. And it was half the value of the car to insure it, so that sort of put paid to it at that particular stage of the game. They were about $3,000 then.
It puts it back into a different perspective, doesn't it?
It certainly does, yeah.
Owning it today in 2015 make you feel pretty special.
Yes, it does. It's a rare car. They made about 1,600 odd of these, and apart from the ones that have been cloned, which are all right in their own right, there's not many of the real ones left.
Yeah, for sure. Good on you, Noel. Thanks for bringing it along. The Jamieson Autumn Fair here on this week's episode of Classic Restos. Nice to have you along. Thank you, Noel.
Right, thanks, Fletch. Thank you.
You're watching the 2015 Jamieson Autumn Fair, and you're seeing it first on Classic Restos, thanks to Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, and Hare & Forbes Machinery House. Back with more right after this.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons.
We've also got Shannons Home and Contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannons.
Shannons. Insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare & Forbes Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare & Forbes has the range. And Hare & Forbes Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare & Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
Moving on now to something completely different, a 1951 Citroen, and we have Tony. How are you, Tony?
Very well, thank you, Fletch.
That's good. Always good to interview a guy that owns a Citroen, and he's got a Ford badge on the front of his shirt. That's kind of different, isn't it?
You can only drive one car at a time.
Now, look, 1951, I have a respect for the age of this car. It's a funny-looking thing, isn't it?
It was designed in 1934 by Andre Citroen, designed after the 34 Ford, and they didn't change their design until 1957.
I thought you were going to say 1990.
No, the Citroen finally did change to the D series in 57.
Now, with all due respects to the shape, 1951 with this Citroen, Tony, it's fairly low to the ground, but it's got a high roofline.
Well, it was especially designed with the six-cylinder motor for the police, and I presume most of the police were larger people. And remembering, of course, they used these on European roads where everything was bends and hills, and that's why the low centre to gravity, and it's a monocoque design.
Yes. Well, of course, and I mean, that's why a lot of European cars do go around corners very nicely. I mean, obviously designed back in the country of origin for those particular roads. Now, looking around this 1951 Citroen, this is a very different car. It's not the type of car that you see turning up to car shows, and that's where I give this credit. Lots of stainless, lots of chrome.
When the headlights were no longer separate to the body, the Citroen, of course, did keep that going, and one of the differences between the French design and the British-made ones was the British kept all the chrome, whereas the French went for the painted.
Now, this is interesting. How many countries was the Citroen built in?
Very good question. I do know that this car was made in Slough in England back in 1951, and then it was imported to a socialite, a Toorak, who I can just see her now driving up and down Toorak Road in the early 50s.
Engine up front, Tony, what powers it?
It's a 6-cylinder, 3-litre, and that was the largest they ever did make. They did think about putting a V8 in them, and I would have loved one of those.
When you stop and think about it, we had 3-litre 6-cylinder engines in the mid-80s going into our Commodores. So when you talk in terms of 1951, to have a 3-litre 6, that was quite ahead of its time in a lot of respects.
And that's why a lot of the cockies used to have them, because of the long drives in the country and so forth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tony, thanks for being on today's show. The Jamieson Autumn Fair. What a great place to have a car show. Before I let you go, what do you think of the event so far, as small as it is?
I think it is just beautiful country atmosphere, and I love the range of cars that we've got here on display today.
And it's also what I love about Classic Restos. Sure, we go to some of the biggest shows around the world, but gee, it's nice to turn up to a regional place such as Jamieson and see 30, 40 cars on a paddock and enjoy those as well. Thanks again, Tony.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
Time for a pick-up on today's show. Hello, Steve.
G'day, Fletch. How are you?
Great, mate. Great. Having fun?
Oh, always have fun up here at Jamieson, yeah.
Okay, now, Steve, we've got a 46 Chev Pickup. Beautiful truck indeed. Nice to see that you're a religious man as well. I mean, you don't live very far from the church.
Yeah, I can see the church in the background. Probably haven't been for a while, but that's how it goes.
Oh, that's the way. Now, this truck really does stand out. It's a beautiful thing. Now, I know these questions are, they're cliched at times, but it's always nice to know the history. Now, being a truck, they've usually been flogged, rusted out, left for dead in paddocks. What's the story with yours?
Well, the story was behind mine was it was simply a parts gathering exercise. I initially started with a rolling chassis off a style side ute. It came from a friend of mine in Mansfield, and I started off with a chassis, and as soon as I saw it, I knew there was a project there. So after that, I purchased a military cabin from McNulty's at Greta South off a truck. I went over to Ray's Classic Iron in Kyabram, and I purchased the front guards, the bonnet, and the running boards from there. And then the next bit I imported from America, the rear pickup bed. So that didn't have to do much work on that.
Steve, what I love about it is the colour. It looks so period correct. Love the running boards and those steel wheels. There's something about the beige and the red. Now, that may all look fairly original, but up under the hood, there's something going on there. What is that?
Well, I've ditched the old Blue Flame 6 and put a bit of a spring in its step. I've come up with a small block Chev, a 350, and behind that I've attached a Turbo 700 Holden auto.
So
and it's a great package.
It is. It's best of both worlds. Cool truck, well powered. Gotta love the exhaust out back. Check that out. A couple of bits of gal water pipe sticking out the back there, Steve.
Yeah, well.
There's a house getting around Jamieson with no water at the moment.
Yeah, probably a bit like that. One of the problems I encountered when I was making this, I live on a gravel road, so it's a bit hard to make a concourse or a show car. So I thought I'd restore it to what I term as HQ Holden standard. A bit of a knockabout car that you can use on a gravel road, but I do my best to keep it cleaned up.
46 pickup with a bit of dust on the running board. No one's going to knock you for that. And just on ending, the interior. I mean, the red leather, that looks just absolutely superb.
Yeah, well, thanks, Fletch. They're simply Holden VR Commodore seats.
Have you done anything with brakes?
Standard Holden brakes, standard discs up front, and rear 1 tonne of drums up the back. Yeah, and it's a great combination.
So it stops fast?
Yeah, stops well. I've kept the whole package simple.
Yeah.
I wanted a simple package that anyone could drive.
Steve, there's no doubt about it. Man of my own heart, a simple package. This is why Fletch can relate to this so well. Mate, thanks for being on today's show.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Fletch.
With me now I have Ian Gear from Mansfield Shire Council. Hello Ian, how are you?
Good day, Fletch. Thanks for coming to Jamieson.
That's okay. Mansfield, Jamieson, the whole region. This is glorious.
It is. It's a beautiful autumn day and it's a wonderful time of the year to be down in Jamieson. Great spot.
And just such a little car show, but a lot of people are turning up. And as I said earlier, it's great to put a little show like this on the map.
Yeah, it is, Fletch. We have a lot of classic vehicles coming to around Jamieson. It's a beautiful area. We've got lovely touring roads, plenty of bitumen, and for the all-wheel drives and four-wheel drives, we've got plenty of dirt as well.
The Autumn Fair, what are you trying to achieve with the event?
It's an opportunity for community to get together, celebrate, show what they've got, show off our beautiful location. Jamieson's on the junction of the Jamieson and the Goulburn River, of course. Beautiful, beautiful spot. All year round, it's lovely, but of course in autumn, spectacular.
It's great to see little places like this punching above your weight, so to speak.
Oh yeah, look, they're very feisty community, no worries about that. And they do a lot and make a lot happen. Beautiful community that it's very warm and welcoming to visitors, which is really important. It's very much a part of our economy nowadays, the visitor economy. And Jamieson's a great spot to come and base yourself for absolutely anything outdoors you want to do. We've got pubs, restaurants, cafes, two rivers, beautiful spot. Plenty of accommodation, everything's here, it's terrific.
Boy, doesn't that all work hand in hand?
Yeah, it does. It's quite seriously, it's a really good spot to base yourself to tour from the high country. Fishing in the summer, the rivers, the lake, it's all here.
Now, earlier in the show we mentioned the website, so we'll put that down the bottom of the screen again, Ian. So if you want to find out more information to this glorious region, the website, Ian?
Yes, look, our regional website's Mansfield Mount Buller. www.mansfieldmountbuller, of course. And we've got a local Jamieson website here, jamieson.org. Our 1-800 number, 7 days a week,
is 039049. How's that for memory?
Spot on, Fletch. Thanks a lot. But, and if you're not into website names, just Google anything Jamieson in your activity and you'll find us. Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure coming down here to be here and to meet you too. Thank you very much, Ian.
Thanks indeed, Fletch. Thanks for coming.
If you love classic Americana, well then why not consider a Fletch tour? Have a look at this.
You deserve a Fletch tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodward Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
One of the best things about a Fletch tour is you're really looked after. It's something I've always wanted to do.
Very well organised. The tour company that put it together was great.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Hare and Forbes Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. when it comes to an Aussie dinky die-built product, nothing really surpasses the FE Holden, and I don't know when the last time was that I had an FE on the show, let alone a station wagon. Welcome. How are you, Michelle?
Good, thank you, Fletch.
That is good. This is glorious. I love this. I just do. It's just such a basic old car.
It is, and it's what we wanted in our lives because we wanted all Australiana in our home, and then we thought we've got to have an Australian icon, so we went for the Holden.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is.
It just goes to show it's not always about huge power and trinkets and all the luxury under the sun. It's got its own luxury in its own way. As basic as it is, it still boasts its chrome up front, its beautiful stainless steel, an original interior that just takes you way back to the late 50s. How did you get the car? Where did you find it?
Well, my husband Bill, he noticed an ad in one of the local car magazines, and he rang up about it, and the fellow said that he had it advertised on eBay, so we went onto eBay and had a look there. We said to him, have you got any other pictures? And he said yes, and he put them on for us, and we thought this is lovely. And we asked him whether he wanted a deposit or not. He said, no, not until you see the thing. We go, no, we will send you a deposit.
The Venetian blind out back, the esky, the folded blanket, it is a time capsule.
It is. It certainly is. And for anyone in our era that look back and go, oh, wow, I remember.
Yeah. And now the best thing about this for me is I can actually say that this car was made well before I was born, which makes me feel awesome. Michelle, thank you so much for your input on today's show. But before this wagon goes, we're going to have a quick word to Bill, Michelle's hubby. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Fletch.
How you cruising, Bill?
Good, Fletch. Thanks, mate.
Away, mate. Beautiful wagon. We just had the privilege of talking to Michelle. Now, give us a talk like mechanically. What have you done to the car?
I've done nothing, mate. Just the way I bought it.
How cool's that?
Yeah.
How do you buy a vehicle from the late 50s and just don't do anything mechanically? Yeah, that's good.
Well, I've had my day of restoring old cars, so I sold my last VK and went out and got this because I wanted a wagon. So wagons are hard to come by, but managed to get this one from Tassie. So yeah, haven't looked back.
I don't think that this could be the first FE wagon on the history of Classic Restos, which, just for the record, happens to be 8 years and over 400 episodes. So that's I guess it depicts how rare this car actually is.
Yeah, well, they are getting rare. When I rang Shannons to insure it, they said they hadn't insured one for years. So, yeah, there's plenty of FCs around, but not FE wagons. Yeah, so...
How does it drive?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, yep. Yeah.
Bill, thank you so much for sharing this wagon with us. It was only 1 year, too, that Holden did this wagon, right?
The wagon, yep, the 57, yep. Yeah. That was it. FE's come out in 56. They went for 2 years, but the wagon was only 1 year.
Yeah. You got it here today.
Yep, no worries.
Good on you, Bill.
No worries, Fletch. Thanks, mate.
You're welcome. Time for a stationary engine. Now we have methane. How are you, methane?
No, it's Ethan. Ethan, not methane, Ethan.
Ethan.
Come on, Fletch.
I knew it was an engine with a gas, right? Hey, this is a cool thing. What do you love about it?
Oh, definitely the exhaust note and also the patina look of it and just, the old design.
Well, I mean, just the fact that it fires on about every 10th stroke is pretty hilarious too, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's a wonderful piece of machinery and it does that so it conserves fuel.
So tell me, Ethan, you wouldn't want it thirsty. What year is it?
From 1923, produced by the Hugh Victor Mackay Company Sunshine engine.
I mean, bless its heart, 1923 technology here. This thing is running like a Rolex. It is smooth as silk, really is running beautifully. Ethan, these parts are so heavy duty. Did they ever actually wear out?
Oh, most definitely. There's many parts on this which would have to be replaced. The general wear and tear, such as bearings and seals and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of power, watching at home, we can relate to this. How powerful is this single-cylinder engine?
It's just a 5-brake horsepower engine, but it has quite a lot of torque because of the big, heavy flywheels.
Ethan, give us an idea of what this engine would have powered back in its era.
Look, large saw benches, water pumps, generators, but this particular engine used to power a hay baler.
Wow.
So it used to compress the hay and then pump it out in bales.
That's amazing. I had to get this engine. I love these things. I mean, they burp and piss and fart all day long, don't they?
Oh yeah, they're lovely. They're lovely old things. Yeah.
It's amazing how you relate that to lovely. Mate, it's been great having you on the show.
No worries, Fletch.
Good on you, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, and thanks for turning up with this thing. It's the kind of thing that you wouldn't want to drop on your big toe.
No, it's a bit heavy for that. Yes.
Thanks, mate.
No problem. See you later.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed just some of the 2015 Jamieson Autumn Fair, and I'm sure you'll agree that Ian Greer, Council and Tourism have yet again done a wonderful job in bringing this event together. In the meantime, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show, Classic Restos merchandise, contact information and joining us on a Fletch tour, and of course the major sponsors as well. As I say at the end of every show, no matter where you're watching from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.